Hi. Thank you for waiting.
Yes.
How are you?
Fine. We are loving this experience with you.
Oh, I'm a huge fan of your daughters, first of all. So can I start there?
So am I.
Good. Apples don't fall far from the tree, obviously. Well, I'm creating a series called The Secrets of Life. And I thought, who else to ask the secrets of life than people that have actually lived life? You know, I'm tired of 19-year-old daughters of mine telling me about the rules of life. I want to ask somebody that knows about life. Can you share with me some of the secrets that you've learned over the years?
Oh, well, that's a big question.
Big question.
I knew you were going to ask me about the secrets of life. And I thought, aging graceful, how to age gracefully takes a thoughtful mind. It takes a chance to think about things, to process. And the other secret is, as you get older, to stop complaining, stop whining. And that's part of my last book is no whining.
I love that. I always say I'm a try me person, not a why me person. And no better time to tell people that than now, when number one, they're forced to take time to think, right? To be mindful. And then second, you either have a choice to say why me or try me and learn something from this. What are some of the other lessons that you've learned through your mindfulness throughout life about perspective and being positive?
I think you should always have a purpose. When I finish a project because of health or money or whatever it might be, and I think everyone has that, we go from one passion to another. I think it's finding something that excites you, something that gives you pleasure, something that brings. If you have a family, you're satisfied. You're not on them. You're not begging. And I find for older people, the thing is that they don't look around for opportunities. They just like to sit and complain about how their bodies hurt.
Yeah. One of the things that we're finding out right now, and Chad and I were talking about it, is, you get caught up into life and you forget about what's important. And I think everyone I talk to is starting to reevaluate how important their families are, and to have dinner with your family or lunch with your family or to take a Friday off. Do you see with your friends that are older or those that even have passed on that that's their biggest regret, that they haven't spent time with their families? Or is there something else that I'm missing?
Oh, gee, I don't think I can answer that because my family lives all around the world, and I'm very lucky to get maybe a weekend with them. Now, Lynn and I live in the same building, and so we get to share our lives, but we don't have big family dinners. But I like you say, when I'm the age you're talking about, I did love to cook a Sunday dinner. There's nothing better than a Sunday dinner for the family.
Absolutely. And how old are you now, Pollyann?
97.
Oh my gosh, you look wonderful, by the way.
Thank you.
Any secrets to health that you can share with us?
I knew that you would ask that, and most people, I was thinking about that question, and people used to say, well, I don't drink and I ate or something, something very personal. But longevity has very little to do, I think. I think it has all to do with your genes and your heritage, your family tree. I have my grandmother, my great-grandmother, and cousins all lived to be over 100. And so I'm feeling that destiny has already written for me what my future is to be.
I think that is so. First of all, I feel very lucky because both my grandparents, they lived to 97. My great aunt lived to 103. who came to my grandpa's funeral, and she was crying. And I asked my Aunt Sophie, I said, "Why are you so upset? My grandpa lived to 97. He lived a wonderful life. He has, 17 grandchildren. He died in his sleep. What a blessing." And she said, "But he died so young."
How funny.
I love that. Last thing, I think that happiness and laughter and fun are so important. What are some of the things that you can help people to understand that allow you to share the happiness and fun? What are some of the fun things that you would suggest for younger families to do?
I don't think I can answer that because I've been so involved with keeping myself happy.
Yeah. And what are the secrets to keeping yourself happy?
Well, I was a competitive ballroom dancer for 20 years, national champion. Um, and then when I couldn't do that anymore, then I became a judge for rose shows around the United States, a qualified judge for roses. I finished that career. Then I went on. And then, so now for my pleasure, and I have lost my sight. So halfway through, I continued to write, and I have written, this is my newest book. So I write books. And this book, Grin and Giggle, is about nostalgia. It's about living through the Depression and what it was like. And people were happy then. They were happier then than they are now. And it's funny, they keep saying, oh, our economy is worse than it was during the Depression. They have no idea what it was like during the Depression. But people went without and didn't know it. They didn't know it.
Yeah, that's so interesting because, they're making comparisons to the Depression. And I keep hearing from people, as we have less of a focus on the things that we own and the money we have in the bank account and all these things. I know my grandfather told me during the Depression, he sold tires out of the back of the truck 6 days a week, 12 hours a day, so his family could eat, so they could eat. And yet he said, I had such a good childhood, and
I know it.
And this is what I'm seeing now. I've been blessed to have more than enough, almost my entire life as an adult. And these 8 weeks have been more special than all the special events and people and entertainers and athletes and awards. And these 8 weeks with my own family, and I really appreciated it, which is why I wanted to bring people like you on, Pollyann, to help guide us that we can live more fulfilled life and to hear and share these stories. I'd love for people to buy your book. Where can they get your books at? On Amazon?
Yes, I think so. We have a self-publishing. Lenny can answer that more.
All right.
But thank you for that plug. As you talked, I just have to say this. I am a tremendous sports fan, and the only station on TV that I watch are the 4 sports station, ESPN and so forth. And I'll tell you, I have written essays on basketball, and I was heartsick when March Madness couldn't do anything this year. And so that is my life and my joy because I don't go out. So it's you can ask me almost anything and I can give you some kind of an answer.
That's awesome. Well, I'm asking you one last question about basketball. Did you get to see the Michael Jordan? It's basically the only sports thing on. What was your favorite part of the Jordan documentary so far? Was there something that really stood out to you?
The thing that stood out to me the most was during the 80s or the 60s, which was
80s, you got it.
Okay. And I was not a basketball fan, and I thought, I'm so sorry that I missed out on all of that. But anyway, what I loved the most was at the ending, his comment, and the commentators talked about how he felt when his career was over.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you weren't even a basketball fan in the 80s. Why or how did you become a basketball fan?
March Madness. Yeah. And I picked the winners 3 times.
Oh, well, next year when we get back, I'm gonna bring my sheet over to you and have you filled it out. My bracket. You're gonna fill
Oh,
my bracket. I'll pay for it.
no, I don't do the brackets because I don't have that much confidence in myself. But after the top 8, I'm good.
All right, you can finish out my bracket for me then.
Thank you. That would be fun.
Pollyann, thank you so much. You are a blessing and a pleasure, and you're so beautiful. I appreciate you for all your wisdom. Thank you so much for joining.
Oh, thank you for your questions. I appreciate it so much.
Wow. I now have a
Yeah.
goal to be as beautiful and as smart as you at 97. So thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Bye, Lynn. Great to see you. Thank you, Justin.